Hey, Facebook friends and Parlor pals. Kind of want to talk a little bit about the election data and how the media is handling that. I'm going to compare it to the data from the COVID models that first came out from the UK, from that Niall Ferguson guy. You know, the media, oh, everybody ran with that data, and 2 million people were going to be dead by a certain time, and we had to lock down the whole world. And, just everybody panicked. Everybody listened to this guy like he was God, right? And models are only as good as the data that you put into them. And really, what data did we really have back in January and February? Nobody supposedly knew anything about COVID at all, and it was this new novel virus, but yet they projected just hysterical outcomes. And then everything got shut down, economies got crushed. I mean, we don't even know all the fallout that's going to come from that yet. I mean, we're still in it. And then I want to, so that's just insane to me. And then now when we look at the election data that came out, which is absolutely statistically easy to study and compare to past elections, and there's certain data curves that are just normal. That's just how data works. And we've got data wonks and analysts all over the world that are looking at this going, this is not possible. And then you've got the spikes in the middle of the night in Philadelphia and in Detroit and in Atlanta, and those spikes of all these 100,000 ballots just came dumped in, or they dumped them in at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, and they're all for Joe Biden. Those are not statistical possibilities. And then the media, they're not even talking about it, and they're trying to act like somehow people are making this up or it's not possible, when this is actual data of an actual event or events that actually happened that can be analyzed, because you can only analyze something if it's already happened, and this has already happened. And then in conjunction with that, when you look at Trump's 2018 executive order that preemptively issued a state of emergency to be able to be prepared to look into any potential future voter fraud from, international characters and domestic, entities as well. And if you go and really parse through that executive order, it's actually quite interesting. And I'm going to link a video from an attorney, and she goes over it. It's quite easy for the layperson like you and I to understand. You really need to watch that video from Leah Dundas. I think that's how she says her name. And you'll be able to put the pieces together when you see all of the people that can get caught up in this net that's been laid for them. It's nobody really paid any attention to it. The media just was like, yeah, blah, blah, executive order, who cares? Didn't even look at it. Silly them. And then when you take that executive order, and then when you look at, I noticed in the news probably about 4 days ago, AT&T is looking to sell CNN, which I found very interesting, and in my opinion, I think that has some real connection to what's in this executive order that people are now just starting to really look at and read. And then I don't know if anybody saw it, but there's a story of a Philly mob boss who's willing to spill the beans on the voter fraud that happened, at least in Philadelphia, that he says he basically ran it in houses on, I think, the south side of Philly. They were putting out like 6,000 fake ballots an hour that only voted for Biden and didn't even do any down ticket voting, just 100,000 votes or whatever they put out for Biden. So when you put all these little stories together and then you hook them back to the executive order, I find it very interesting. And I think you might too. So we'll have the links there posted for you so you can see them and read them.